I was never meant to come back inside that day. That single unexpected return is the only thing that kept me breathing. Halfway to the office, I reached for my pocket and felt nothing. My wallet was missing. Irritation hit me harder than worry. It was just one more slip-up in an ordinary, distracted morning. I swung the car around, eased back into our driveway, and slipped through the front door without a sound. Everything inside seemed exactly as it always did, comfortable, secure, routine. Then her voice drifted out from the bedroom, low, close, private. "We'll increase the dose tonight," Emily murmured. My body locked in place right there in the corridor. A male voice responded, "Come comfortable." Then, "He hasn't noticed." My ribcage squeezed tight. Emily let out that soft, familiar chuckle, the one she saved for nights when she'd nestle into me against the chill. "No," she answered. "Ryan, trust me." Hearing my own name in her tone felt twisted, almost foreign, like it belonged to someone expendable. I stood motionless, lungs frozen. The hallway turned fragile under me, like a sheet of cracking ice. "Soon," she went on in that same gentle whisper, "everything will be ours." Ours. Not hers alone, not mine, ours. The word landed like a hammer. My grip on the doorframe eased as decades of marriage crumbled inside that one syllable. I retreated step by careful step, soundless, vanishing from the house before they ever sensed I had been there. In the car, I sat motionless, staring down at my open palms. They stayed perfectly steady. That stillness frightened me more than any tremor could have. My phone vibrated. A message from Emily. "Hey, babe, Redheart, did you make it to work safe?" I stared at the screen. She had just lied to me from 10 feet away. I chose not to challenge her, not out of fear, but because I wanted her to stay comfortable, unguarded. People slip up when they believe they're secure. Exactly 12 minutes later, I re-entered the house, this time allowing the front door to latch with its normal thud. My keys clattered into the bowl on the entry table, the everyday metallic sound. "M." I called lightly. Footsteps approached. The bedroom door swung open. She appeared in the hallway, smoothing her hair, already wearing the mask she wanted me to see, affectionate, steady, devoted. "Hey," she said with a warm smile. "You forgot something." Her gaze darted to my empty hands, then lingered, assessing. I raised the wallet just enough for her to see. "This." She gave a light laugh. "You'd forget your own head if I didn't remind you." She closed the distance and pressed a kiss to my cheek. Her lips felt warm, rehearsed, flawless. "I thought you were at Pilates," I said. "It wrapped up early," she answered without a pause, smooth as glass. Not the slightest hitch, not even a fraction of a second. She moved past me into the kitchen, utterly relaxed. Too relaxed. She reached up and pulled down 2 mugs. Every gesture was unhurried, habitual. Without turning, she asked, "How are you feeling today?" Not "How was the drive?" Not "Why'd you come back?" Just that one precise question. My chest constricted again because the words no longer carried care. They felt like intel gathering. That night I faked sleep long before she settled in. Emily lingered next to me, thumb moving across her phone screen, its glow catching in her eyes. Every so often she glanced over, observing, checking. I deepened my breath deliberately, slow, even, convincing. 10 minutes in, her hand drifted across and rested lightly on my shoulder. Probing. I remained still. 60 more seconds ticked by before she eased out of bed with practiced quiet. The door opened and closed almost without noise. I counted to 5, then trailed after her. The corridor was pitch black, but her whisper floated from the kitchen. "Yes," she said, "is asleep." My gut knotted. "No," she continued in the same hushed tone. "He hasn't noticed anything." A pause. POS. Then softer. "I increased it last week like you told me." Increased it. My palm flattened against the wall for balance. The man on the line spoke. I couldn't make out his words, but her reply came clear. "I know," she breathed. "But once it's done, everything transfers to me anyway." Transfers. Not split, not shared. Transfers. Complete possession. Final. I backed away before a creak could give me away, retreating to our bedroom, sliding back under the covers we shared. Soon she returned and slipped in beside me. Her palms settled on my chest again, fingertips registering the rhythm of my pulse, monitoring, patient. Right then, a chill sank deep into my veins. She wasn't scared of losing me. She was already planning my replacement. The next morning arrived as though nothing had shifted. Emily stood at the counter, sunlight spilling over her shoulders while she stirred coffee. She appeared serene, everyday, lethal. "Morning," she said gently when our eyes met. Her smile came without effort. I mirrored it, forcing the curve. She toned, offering the mug. "I made yours." I accepted it slowly. The warmth felt ordinary, the same ceramic I'd held for years. I studied her expression, no trace of nerves, only calm anticipation. I lifted the mug partway, then stopped. "Did you already have yours?" She nodded easily and raised her own cup to demonstrate. But I saw the difference. Hers was pale, heavy with cream. Mine was black, untouched. Now her attention fixed on my hands, subtle but intent, calculating. I brought the rim close to my mouth, held it there beat, then lowered it. "Still hot," I said. She smiled softly. "Give it a minute." Her tone stayed even, assured, as though the clock was her ally. I placed the mug down and drifted toward the sink, feigning interest in rinsing a spoon. Behind me, her posture eased just a fraction. Relief. That was when the full picture crystallized. She felt no urgency because, in her mind, my decline was already locked in, ticking forward on its own. From then on, I never swallowed anything she prepared. Not suddenly. That would have triggered alarm. Instead, I played the part carefully, raising the cup so she could see the gesture, tilting it just enough, then abandoning it when her eyes were elsewhere, down the drain, into the potted plant on the porch, anywhere except my body. She never pressed because she never suspected she had to. 3 days passed before I slipped away at lunch to a discreet clinic on the other side of town. Cash only, no records tied to insurance, no story offered. The nurse took vials of blood, ran through standard intake questions. I gave standard replies. 2 hours later she came back holding a printout, her face more serious. "Mr. Calloway," she began cautiously, "are you prescribed any sedatives?" "No." She paused, then slid the report across. Elevated benzodiazepine levels, consistent exposure, repeated dosing. The letter swam after that. No longer guesswork, no longer hunch. Hard evidence. I returned to the car and sat gripping the wheel. My phone lit up. "Emily, did you drink your coffee this morning? Red hot hash. Not how's your day. Not I love you. Just verification." I stared at those words for a long stretch. She wasn't concerned for my well-being. She was tracking the effectiveness of her plan. And for the first time in all the years we'd been together, I understood she thought victory was hers. I contacted a lawyer that same afternoon. Not some stranger, but Nathan Pierce, the one Emily had always trusted. He'd managed our house closing, our wills, our shared finances. He'd even joined us for dinner once, chuckling at her stories. He never saw my call coming. "She's been drugging me," I told him, sliding the toxicology sheet across the desk. He read in silence, line by line, then met my eyes. "Do not confront her," he said evenly. "Not yet." That yet carried weight. He laid it all out methodically. Collect proof, build the timeline, secure protection. A premature accusation would let her deny and deflect. Patience would let her reveal herself. That evening I walked through the front door and performed flawlessly, deliberately sluggish steps, extended pauses, small intentional lapses in memory. Emily saw it. I caught the flicker in her gaze, satisfaction, validation. At the dinner table she observed me fumble a fork just slightly. "You okay?" she asked, voice tender, eyes bright with curiosity. I gave a faint nod. "Just tired." She reached over and clasped my hand. Comforting. Supportive, brutal, because to her, the script was unfolding exactly as planned. She was already inhabiting the life she craved, the one without me in it. She offered that gentle smile. I returned it, knowing she had no clue. I'd already begun dismantling her access. Nathan moved swiftly. In under 2 days my personal accounts were locked down, the life insurance beneficiary switched, my will redrafted. Every piece she expected to claim had been quietly, legally, permanently removed from her grasp. At home, she kept the routine intact. Morning coffee, soft words, vigilant observation, patient waiting. She believed she held the lead. One evening she passed me the mug and lingered closer than usual. "You've seemed weaker lately," she said kindly. I nodded slowly. "Just tired." She moved nearer, palm settling on my chest, feeling for the beat, counting, anticipating. "I'm here," she whispered. The phrase sounded like solace, but it was meant for her own ears, affirmation that her timeline remained intact. Later, after she drifted into deep, tranquil sleep beside me, I waited until 2:14 a.m. Then I lifted her phone from the nightstand. Her fingerprint opened it without resistance. She had never considered a dying husband might need guarding against. The thread was right where I knew it would be. One contact, unnamed. I scrolled to her most recent outgoing message, and the words froze my blood. "It's getting worse. Soon everything will be mine. Not ours. Mine." That was the moment I knew the game had to close. I held off the confrontation for one final morning. Emily stood humming in the kitchen, sunlight bathing her as she stirred my coffee. She radiated calm certainty, as though the conclusion was already etched in stone. She toned, extending the mug. "Hey," she said softly. I accepted it, held it a moment, then placed it back on the counter untouched. "I need to show you something," I said, voice level. She stilled, not obviously, but I saw the shift in her eyes. Alarm. I laid the toxicology report on the counter between us. She stared at the page, then at my face, then back to the page. Her lips parted. "Silence." "I know," I said quietly. The kitchen went still. Her posture altered, not into frenzy, not yet, but into cold calculation, hunting for an escape route. There was none. "I've already spoken to an attorney," I went on. "Everything is documented." More silence. That single sheet of paper sat like a wall between us. She no longer looked at me. She was staring at her own ending, because in that instant she grasped what she had never anticipated. She hadn't been observing my slow death. I had been watching her unravel her own scheme. I picked up my keys and started toward the door. She stayed rooted, wordless, unmoving. For the first time in all the years I'd known her, control had slipped from her hands.